Spin-offs, they're very common when it comes to big franchises. Just look at Mario, he's got racing, a board game, many different sports, and so much more. It was only a matter of time until a certain blue hedgehog got a spin-off.
Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing!
God, that name is a mouthful. This game was released for the Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, Steam, and even the DS. It was only a matter of time until Sonic got his own racing spin-off, and there's even other Sega IPs. It's always nice to see Sega acknowledge them. I also figured it would be a nice change of pace to talk about this game. After all, the last time I did talk about Sonic, it was about...
I'm supposed to be the fastest, but I was too slow to save my buddy.
Yeah. Let's get the important question out of the way. Why the hell is Sonic in a car? There you go. Now, this game is a kart racer similar to Mario Kart. It's a standard racer but with a Sega spin on things. First of all, it controls really well, almost as well as Mario Kart Wii I would say. You can accelerate, decelerate, drift or boost, the whole thing. Of course, there are items to spice things up, but what this game does differently from Mario Kart is that the items never feel super unfair. In Mario Kart, you could be doing well the entire game, but then get barraged at the last minute and then lose the entire race, which upsets most people. With this game, you pretty much have to be drifting and actually trying somewhat to get first place. I also like how when you fall, it takes like 2 seconds to get back on track. It took Mario Kart 8 games to fix that. That's not to say all the items are balanced though. You've got the standard missile, the homing missile, the obstacle to put behind you, a rainbow attack that fills your screen with rainbows?
You dare steal the last Baja Blast?
I'm gay. This game also has its own form of a bullet bill, being these character specific all-stars. So unlike bullet bills, you don't get these like free candy. In my case, I only got this once, and in last place no less. And in the case of the computer, it was usually the ones lagging far behind that got the all-star. And it helps that these aren't too overpowered while still being used. I love Mario as much as the next guy, but I do appreciate the racers that try to incentivize more skill than luck. This game also does have single player content, and the first and most obvious one being the Grand Prix. It's pretty self-explanatory, just play a cup consisting of 4 races, win first overall to unlock the next cup, repeat 6 times, and boom, credits. While this is a nice mode to get a feel for the 24 tracks this game has, all being short, simple, but sweet, what I'm not a fan of is how they split it off into 3 difficulties, which is basically just playing the same tracks all over again, but the CPUs are more competent. At least Mario Kart has the excuse of separating each cup via speed, which greatly affected how you played each track. But that's not all. There's even a mission mode here. While it's not as gully as Mario Kart DS's mission mode, it's a really neat bonus, and even I can see myself coming back to this. It even has a cool mode where there's a timer that counts down, eliminating the people in last, up until the person in second place. Why wasn't this a game mode? There's also a time trial mode, which is where you just try beating the course as fast as you can. Not my thing, but it's there for people who like speedrunning tracks. And there's also a shop where you can spend your Sega miles to unlock new characters. You get Sega miles by either beating Grand Prix, missions, etc. Just play the game basically. This is a really cool way to unlock characters, and I am grateful that you don't have to play the same tracks over and over again in higher difficulties just to get a ship with legs. This is the best character in the game. Don't even try to argue with me. You know it's true. The character roster is also pretty robust here, having a good mix of Sega IPs while not feeling like it's mostly Sonic. It's a shame some characters were relegated to being background characters. But it's also cool how each console version has one exclusive character each, with the Wii version having Mii's as its characters. But that's not the only reason why I picked the Wii version. Yep, you're seeing this right. This game has online multiplayer, but only on the console version strangely. While I didn't play too much because finding people for these types of games are hard unless you're in a group, I can say it's very functional and it works pretty great. This game is already a decent local multiplayer game, but it's a great online one too, and you can do it with up to 8 players, so I'd highly recommend setting this up and getting some friends if you can. It's well worth it, trust me.
Alright. Oh, was that first? Was that first? I honestly can't tell. Let's see if we can see some glitching out on the nice camera. inside the pole. Oh, that's such bullshit. You don't. Oh, that's such bullshit. Dude, look at the times, man.
But that race was good. I bet you ain't seen nothing yet.
I don't.
So graphically, this game is something alright. The environments and tracks look great, even for the Wii. Some stages really do stick out with how nice they look. But the same can't be said for models and animations though, good lord. While racing, you're not going to be noticing them much. But during the award ceremonies, what the hell am I looking at? The frame rate is also not good in the Wii version. Despite running at 30 FPS, it will drop frames hard in certain areas. Compare this to Mario Kart Wii, and while I still don't like how the game looks, I still managed to keep a consistent 60 frames per second, and with 12 people no less. Though this probably isn't an issue in the other versions. After all, the Wii is pretty underpowered compared to its competition.
Uno, due, tre, quattro.
Of course it's a DS version of this game. What did you expect? It was damn near a lot to have a DS port for a game back in the days. It's basically a port of this console game, but to the DS. And when I say port, I mean a full-on port. All the characters, stages, extra modes, and even the online. I wasn't able to test the online though because DS games require you to have a router from the Stone Ages to even go online. But it's there. The music had to be remixed in order to even play on the DS, so you get these neat little remixes that aren't anything amazing, but they're pretty catchy. And while the graphics look way worse being on a DS, the environments still look pretty nice, and the game is still fun to play and control. And the best part? This game runs at 60 FPS most of the time, which is unheard of when it comes to 3D DS games. Seriously, it's just wrong how smooth this game is sometimes. It's even more smoother than the Wii version, which is kinda embarrassing. Sadly, I don't think I would play this over Mario Kart DS anytime, mainly because Mario Kart DS is just probably one of my favorite racers ever. But it's still a really impressive port. You're basically getting the console experience with worse graphics. Sure, some of the tracks are streamlined a bit more than the Wii version, but it's there. If you're interested in this game and you want it portably, I would highly recommend this port. I don't know what sort of black magic the people at Sumo Digital used to make this port work, but it's a damn good one. In the end, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is a solid Mario Kart alternative with a Sega spin on things. It may not have good graphics and animations, and the core design is a bit simple, but it's better than a lot of the other kart racers out there, especially on the Wii, trust me. I would totally recommend this game if you were looking for a Mario Kart alternative, if a much better version of this game didn't exist.